Am I the asshole for not giving the money to pay off my daughter's student loans? Update. I sent this post to my daughter when it started. We are going to get on a call. I got off a call with my daughter, and it boils down as she regrets her degree. She feels trapped in debt and wants to be further along in her career. She thought my inheritance would be the key out of it. She got into an agreement art with her brother because she went to rant to him. He apparently had some choice words. She told me she doesn't want the money and asked instead if she could move back home and do an accelerated program a year to 2 years. I agreed. Underscore. My daughter is 25 and she graduated from college around 3 years ago. When she went to college, I was very firm that she needed to pick a major that would make her money and not a major that was her dream. It was a big argument at the time, and she made it clear that she was going to go for theater. I told her it was a horrible idea, and to do something that would actually have her be able to support herself. I knew she wasn't the next Broadway actor. Edit. I didn't pay for any of my kids' college. They took out loans. We didn't have the money. She wants me to pay all her loan. She is not asking for $3,000 that would pay for her vacation cost. I got $200,000. She went into theater and took out loans. She is now working as a server for an interactive dining experience. She doesn't much and lives with 2 other roommates. My mother recently passed away and she left me with a sizable inheritance. I am putting it towards my retirement, and going on a vacation, I am paying for the whole family to go. I told everyone over family dinner and was excited to take them out the country for the first time. My daughter was quite, and after dinner asked me to use the money to pay off her student loans. I told her no. We got into a fight about it, and I told her this is her own fault, that I will not pay off her loans, and it isn't fair to her siblings. She is pissed and told me she isn't going on the trip. She is. You're the asshole. Not for refusing to pay off her loans, but for being smug and spiteful. Side note, if she's not going on the vacation, could you give her the money you would have spent on her? That sounds like it might be a good compromise. Original poster doesn't want to give the kids money, they want to go on a family vacation, and that's totally fair. What isn't fair is their attitude towards their daughter. The resentment and continued belittling just because she made a life choice you didn't agree with is not okay. You're the asshole for that. On the other hand, if her response to a free vacation is, I want cash instead or nothing, then she gets nothing. What if the other kids would rather have money instead of the trip? Then original poster doesn't get their family vacation anymore and owes them all the same amount of money. She wants me to pay all of it. Not the $3,000 to take her on vacation. She wants all of her loans paid off. That's not a compromise. Why should I pay you when the plan is to take everyone on vacation as a family? You know what? No. This is original poster's inheritance. Her child made a stupid choice and wants original poster to pay for it. There is zero benefit to original poster paying this, but a bonding time for the whole family to go on the trip. It's also grossly unfair to the siblings. Why should this child be helped and not the siblings? No compromise is needed here. Someone's inheritance is theirs. It's their gift. This child is so damn entitled, and all of you are encouraging the BS. Not the asshole for not paying her loans, but you're the asshole for the way you've spoken and treated your daughter. It was ridiculous for the daughter to ask. 100% you are there to guide them, not to demand what they do with their life. She wasn't choosing drugs and crime or something. She was choosing art. AP's job, especially as someone not paying for her education, is to make sure they understand how challenging that path will be, and that if they want to follow it, they need to be absolutely relentless in their passion for it. After that, you love them to death and make sure they know you will be with them through success or failure. Original poster acted like it was going to be certain failure, like their kid was a talentless hack with no chance or success, and now seems very happy with the outcome. Imagine feeling like your own father is happier to be right than sad that you failed. He's lucky she speaks to him at all. You're perfectly entitled to do what you want with your own money, and you had warned her, so you're not the asshole there. But it's a horrible idea? And especially, I knew she wasn't the next Broadway star. You're the asshole for that. Would it have hurt you to be a little bit supportive of your child? Do you even like her? I mean, you're right that it was A-ish, but Op was right too, although they could worded it better. Either way, that's unrelated to this specific, am I the asshole, especially if it years ago. I suppose it matters if original poster is really rubbing her face in it now, though. Why? It was a horrible idea, and she wasn't the next Broadway star. Mom was trying to save her from herself. You can't support original poster now while simultaneously telling her she should have played it completely differently. As a parent, you know when your kid is and isn't cut out for something. I'm sure Op had seen their child act before. Sometimes you just know. No amount of school for acting can save you if you aren't cut out for it. Op tried to tell their kid this. The kid didn't listen. Now the kid, like their siblings, has to pay back all the student loans themselves and are pissed about it. Don't go to school for something and not have a backup degree or plan. I'm all for being supportive, but if my kid wants to go to school for something like that, the foot comes down. It's a horrible idea. And especially, I knew she wasn't the next Broadway star. You're the asshole for that. It was a horrible idea, though. Emo would be worse to lie to them and blow smoke up their arse, which would have made the failure much, much worse. Also stupid to pay her loans off without doing the same for the other children. That's how you alienate the others. I knew she wasn't the next Broadway actor. This inheritance/loans issue isn't the real issue. It is very obvious your relationship has been strained long before this. What? So you're supposed to lie to your kid and tell them they're good at something when they are bad in your world? Keep going, honey. Mommy, so proud. Some people need reality check. Not the asshole for not paying her loans, but seems like you've been an asshole to her in general. I suspect original poster was in fact an about it, but parents have been telling their kids to not follow their dreams and get a degree that will make money for generations. The real, here is capitalism. Nah, I don't agree. You need looks and slasher talent to get ahead in acting, and even then you only got a tiny chance of getting well-paid jobs. Most actors are third bank teller from the left inside forever. The daughter can do theater but maybe live in reality and get her teacher training and teach drama at high school. You don't owe your daughter any money, but it also sounds like you don't like or respect her very much. How strange, after she just asks fuck, everybody else give me $300K for the debt you warned me about before taking it on. You have to be living some really fucking privileged life to not lose respect for somebody like that. A lot of these commenters grew up privileged and it shows. Borrow money to follow your dreams in a career that has a very low success rate is not great advice if you've struggled your whole life and are just happy your kids have any realistic opportunity to attend college. Why couldn't she do something more realistic and minor in theater or double major? Why not teach them a way to support themselves financially so they can then follow their passions? Yep. Either that, or they're still children who don't see the problem with following their dreams because they've never been confronted with the reality of that. As someone who lived in poverty following their dreams, I'm much happier now that I've sucked up that I may not love 100% of my work, but trade that for a stable home life. I agree. I'm not saying a parent has to be unnecessarily mean about it, but I don't think there's anything wrong with being clear choosing a major that has a very low chance of being able to pay for itself is a poor choice that will cause long-term issues. Just because something you have a passion for isn't your career doesn't mean you're totally giving it up. She could have majored in anything else and still done community theater, gone to auditions on the side, or made skits to upload on TikTok/YouTube. Oh boy, okay, so technically no assholes here. But I'll be honest, I cannot relate to parents like you. I'm paying my own loans as well, and the struggle is real. Especially since depending on the country you're in, I'm in the USA, you have to list your parents' income until you're basically in your late 20s, even if you have lived on your own since 18. My parents didn't pay a dime for my schooling. I will be paying for my son's. I couldn't even imagine for a moment letting him go through the stress I do with student debt. As a mother, I couldn't imagine putting a vacation as a priority. She didn't choose a major you like, so you went with told you so? Honestly, it's a weird flex that you didn't have any confidence in her or help her focus on the ways her degree could be utilized because there are many. But hey, you parent the way you want. My parents have asked what I want to do about a will, and I've told them to cut me out completely because I have never depended on them financially and don't expect anything from them. Your daughter needs to learn how to do the same to stop seeing you as someone she expects or depends on for financial or personal support in her career. It will make her life less of a headache and yours because you both will firmly have new roles in life that you both are comfortable with. If she has kids, she just has to focus on being a supportive parent financially and personally to them. She should ditch the trip, though, so she can look at different ways to get herself out of debt. My kids are 18 and 19, and we have to try to encourage them to make their own choices, but not to limit themselves to what makes the most money. I have an MBA, and it has barely impacted my career at all and was torture to obtain Read. Boring AF. Our oldest has autism and is taking a little longer to launch. We are planning to subsidize a chunk of rent in our high COLA area to help them. The youngest starts college in the fall and is studying nursing. She wants to be a nurse midwife someday. She is also an incredible artist, but her anxiety is too high for her to choose that for college. Even as I've tried to tell her I wished I'd majored in something I truly enjoyed. However, I think she is right. A career-oriented program will work with her anxiety, and she'll likely be more successful in school and beyond. We are going to be getting some loans, she's getting some too, and we are going to give her the same amount of cash every month as the older one. My point is just that support doesn't necessarily look like all or nothing for parents or young adults. And we've already told the oldest if they choose to go to traditional college or a trade school, we will support that as well. This world is hard enough, and while I can't pay for my kids' school in cash, I can help them as much as possible. I joined the Army and my best friend was a stripper. We both sacrificed our bodies and our mental health for a few grand and a ticket out of our hometowns. We've promised each other that our children will not have to make the same sacrifices, even if I have to put off world travels a couple more years. So yay. Agree with you? Original poster maybe isn't an A, but he certainly isn't not one. Exactly. I completely share this point of view. I had no support financially, emotionally, or any other ally. I spent much of my early 20s in fear and stress. And yes, I survived. But as a father of 2 kids in this age group, I can't imagine turning around and saying, I suffered and survived, so should you? Because in many ways I didn't. What's the point of any of it if I can't make a better life for my kids? I want them to feel they have someone on their side in this life more than I want a vacation. Totally agree. I'm always shocked by the tone in threads like these and wonder how many of the once kids are 18, parents owe them nothing type of responses are from parents who have lousy relationships with their adult kids or bitter young people who never had help from their own parents and are trying to convince themselves that that is how things should be. I had zero support from my family, either financially or emotionally, and my number one priority has been making sure my own kids get all the financial and emotional support I can possibly give them. We sacrificed a lot to save up for our child's education too. Original poster hasn't even saved money for retirement and is going to spend this money on that in a big vacation. Not a stretch to imagine why their kid doesn't have financial sense, though they seem comfortable blaming her. Thank you very much for watching. Put likes, write comments, and wait for new videos on the channel.